If you haven't heard of my good friend Niemanog, who is an incredible producer and just an amazing person, I'm about to fill you in. First of all, he's not new to the producing game. He started producing back in college. We just did an interview. He was telling me the rundown. He started producing back really in college, working with artists like Mill Green and putting out different projects, and his production has just developed from there. And something that I love about Niemanog specifically is he's just genuinely a great guy. He's a great person, and that's something that mixes in with his actual brand. And I know when I talk about branding, it's like, Minnie, all you do is talk about branding and brand. However, having a personal brand is super important, especially as a creative, as a producer. That's why it's important for people like Niemanog, who has been on Twitter since 2021. I got put onto him because of a producer and engineer named Guap the Guru, and he had done a collaboration with Neiman, and I was like, yo, I gotta reach out to this guy. Reached out to Niemanog, we connected, we did our collaboration, and we've just been collaborating since. He's got a beat pack that's on my website called beatpack.co. We've just been able to work together in many different ways, and honestly, he's just an incredible guy to be connected with. With Niemanog, something that is really cool is his sound, and I feel like that's the biggest thing about him that is truly special. His sound has been described as like a spacey, out of this world type of experience. He's really good with that kind of thing when it comes to beats. However, he's done like house beats. He's really good with pushing the sound creatively. He's cool with doing different genres and trying different things, whether it's pop punk, whether it's country trap beats. He's willing to just experiment and infuse his own sound. And something that he's really big about doing is creating beats from scratch. He creates a lot of melodies at a rapid pace, honestly, because he sends out melodies to me, especially when we collab, and he likes to create them from scratch. And that is something that's so big, because we can get into the conversation about loops versus making melodies. I'm not doing that. However, something about Niemanog is that he does create melodies from scratch, and that is something that I feel like is unique to him because it's his sound, right? So when you're creating something from scratch, you have your sound of like your go-to's and things that you like to do when you create, and that's something that you can hear in his beats. He's very big about making the sounds just sound trippy, sound really cool, sound unique, sound fun. And we've done a lot of drill beats together, which people really love, combining with my drums and his melodies. It just really works well together and pushing the envelope on the sound. And that's something that I feel like helps Niemanog with his beat selling journey, because he's been selling beats for quite some time. He does work with artists, you know what I mean? And I think it's just really incredible that he's been able to build this name for himself. He's still building, he's collaborating with different producers, and that's something that you're gonna find as you watch these videos, as you watch the videos in this series. A lot of the producers that I'm talking about, they do collaborate with other people. They're collaborating with other producers, and that's a huge thing to do, because for Niemanog, we've worked together. He's worked with producers like Sweet Speaker, Ellipsy, and I know I'm naming the same names, but that's because a lot of us in the community, especially the community that we're building, we all work together at one point. He's very big also about collaborating with others and pushing out his sound, his melodies. And the cool thing about him too, and I know I'm going all over the place, so bear with me, something that I really appreciate is his attention to customer service. He's very focused on making sure that artists that work with him, they feel connected to him. They don't feel like they're just another number. But he just started working with an artist that bought a beat pack of his and put together a project. And because I'm not gonna butcher the name, I'm just gonna put it right here so that you can look at it, because y'all not gonna come at me. You're not gonna come at me at all. Alright? I'm just gonna put the social media, shout you out, and I know you told how to say it, but I'm just gonna have to read it over and over again until I get it right. So I apologize in advance. Beside the point is that Niemanog is working with artists who are excited to have his beats, because his beats are cool. They're just really refreshing to listen to. And a lot of times people, like talk about like, oh, I make the best beats and all that stuff. Really, what I have learned is it's not all about making the best beats, right? It has a lot of components. Like, yes, you should have quality beats. Yes, your beats should be a standard that is something that people would want to record on. However, it also matters about you as a person. How are you? Do people feel like they can connect with you? And that's something that Niemanog has about him, is that people want to connect with him. And something about him as well is, again, I've spoken on this before, is his content doesn't surround it being with him as the forefront of the content, right? So he's not making videos with his face in it all the time where it's like, hey, this is me and I'm Niemanog, or being a personality. He's really focused on the production. And with him being focused on production, it gives him the time to really get people to know what do his beats sound like, right? And this helps with him getting his sales because he does have unique beats. People can say, oh man, like if he made a melody from scratch and you wanted him to, let's say you wanted him to take out a sound, because it's not a loop and it's not something that like you got from Looperman, because I know that yes, if you get a loop you can take out the stems and stuff like that. That's not what I mean. I'm saying if you're downloading like a loop from Looperman, they already have those put together. They're not stemming it out and you can contact them and stuff like that. But when you're creating something from scratch, you can really create something that, you know, if an artist comes to you and say, hey, I want this type of style of beat, you can create that. Because if you are into the practice of creating melodies from scratch, which I truly suggest to people that you should know how to make melodies to some degree. Even for myself, I know how to make melodies from scratch. That's what I did a lot when I was starting out making beats. I did use loops, but then I did get into just creating from scratch and cooking up melodies, because I think that's a very important skill to have, and that's something that I truly believe helps out with Niemanog. When I'm talking about producers on this series and even eventually artists and people like that, you're noticing commonalities, you're noticing similarities, because a lot of these producers especially, is it all really starts with them as a person. And that's why I keep saying that, like, people like Niemanog, yes, he could have the best beats, you know, subjectively in the world, but if he wasn't a great person, he wouldn't be getting the success that he is right now, right? And the way that he's building himself up, the way that he's building up his brand, the way he's doing things is just so refreshing. And that's why I love being able to see him grow, being able to collaborate with him. And as far as his content goes, I mean, he is posting on Instagram. He'll post reels of his beats. That's typically his content, with his graphic that he typically creates for his beats. And it's all, you know, aligns in on like Beatstars. He uses the same kind of artwork and things like that. So it's all cohesive and goes together. He is regularly uploading on Beatstars and putting his beats out there, you know, doing different types of artist type style. I don't believe he is actually starting to put stuff on YouTube as shorts, and so that's really dope. You know, he's putting himself out there as far as social media. He does share when artists use his, you know, beats and things like that from time to time. And he's getting into custom work, custom beat work, which I think is really smart for him, because especially because he creates things from scratch. I just think it's so important, if you have that skill set, that you should definitely capitalize on the fact that you know how to make melodies and that you can create everything from scratch and really give someone, you know, the beats that they're looking for and bring their vision to life. That is just something that's super key. It's something that I do as well, doing custom beat work, and it has a different feel when you get to work with an artist 101. Niemanog, he is just such an amazing individual who is really serious about the craft. He cares about the work that he puts out. He cares about the people that he works with. He's very serious about what he does. And that's a huge thing, is that if you love the craft, if you're really putting in the time and the effort, just like Niemanog is, you're going to see results, right? It's just inevitable. And that's something that he's done. He's been able to see the results because of the time and the effort that he's put in, and because of the type of person that he is. Again, as I mentioned, he's collaborating with other producers. He's putting things out there. He's willing to experiment and expand his brand in certain ways that maybe he wouldn't have thought of. Like putting together a beat pack was not something he was thinking about, you know? And I approached him and said, hey, how would you feel about doing a beat pack, you know, for my website, right? And so things like that, when you're pushing people outside of their element, when you're getting them to think outside the box, sometimes it can be like, oh man, I don't know if I want to do this, but then you realize, hey, this isn't so bad, right? That is something that I'm really grateful for him, is that he's willing to take on certain things that maybe people would say no to, but then ends up having success with it. The beat pack that he's done for my website is actually doing quite well organically, and we haven't even really put anything into advertising it, like Facebook ads or anything like that. When I talk about people like Niemanog is someone that you can look at to say, man, yes, should I have really quality beats? Absolutely. But don't be afraid to just be you, be yourself, be connecting with other people that have other skill sets, that maybe they're better at something than you are. If you're really great with making melodies, team up with people who really do great drums. Team up with people who are great with marketing or great with graphics, and figure out how you can, exchange different skills between each other, and what that looks like. If you're great with making content, maybe you're reaching out to producers and saying, hey, I can help create content for you in exchange of doing a collab if they charge or whatever. Don't be afraid to just try some different things, because that's something with Niemanog specifically that he does really well, is he's willing to try different things. He's willing to, just do something different, and just being a great person. I mean, really, that is the biggest thing with Niemanog. He is creative. He's got amazing beats. They're quality. It's something that you want to listen to. It's unique. He's got different sounds in there. He's willing to just have some trippy stuff, and he's excited about what he creates. He's excited about working with new artists. He's excited about elevating and just pushing the sound forward and continuing to grow and progress. I wanted to talk about him. I wanted to break this down because, as far as selling beats online, if you notice with this series, yes, could I talk about, many times they're uploading per week or all these different breakdowns, but what I want to show you is there are actionable things that you can do right now, and a lot of it has to do with you as a person, how you're putting yourself out there to the world, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be like, yo, go ahead and post 12 times a day, or 12 times a week, or whatever. Like, yes, you should be consistent, whatever that looks like for you, as far as uploading beats and putting them out there, but make sure you're doing it intentionally. Make sure that you're looking at, how are things working? Is email marketing working best for me? Okay, double down on your email marketing strategy. Is YouTube really working for me? Okay, double down on your, YouTube strategy. Instagram, TikTok, whatever that looks like. Look at what's really working for you and double down on it, because it's going to look different for everybody. And that's what I hope you realize by watching these videos, is that these producers that I've been talking about recently all have similarities. However, they're each doing their own thing, and a lot of it ties back into just being themselves and being authentic. And that is something that you can't buy. You can't buy authenticity. You got to figure out what that looks like for you. And of course, you pair that up with some really dope beats and just putting them out there for people to hear and being consistent with that. Then you have no reason but to see some success from that. Whatever success looks like for you. Okay? I really appreciate you tuning in, watching this video. And again, shout out to Niemanog. He is a great guy. Y'all should definitely tune in and stay updated with him if you haven't already. And I truly appreciate you watching these videos and just supporting. And go ahead and check out Niemanog interview. We did a whole long interview. We can hear more about his story. It's really great, really inspiring, and just something to just take all in, because he's an incredible human being, and I'm grateful to have connected with him. So until next time, truly appreciate you watching this. Go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know who you want me to expose next, and let me know what other kind of content you want to see me drop on this channel. Until next time though, peace out.